Okay, so my presentation is about the 2024 U.S. presidential election. But before I go into like our presidential election right now, I want to give some context. So during the 2008 and the 2014 elections, Obama won the elections, and his vice president was Joe Biden, who you can see right here very blurrily, right there.
You mean 2012?
2012, yeah, I couldn't find the exact number, but it's, yeah, you got it. The 2016 election, this was right after Obama was out of the running, because he had already run 2 terms. These 2 people, Hillary Clinton, she's not important, and Donald Trump, see, he's gonna come back later, you need to take notes on him. He's this big, flamboyant guy. He had a reality TV show, he's a millionaire, and he just kind of decided he wants to be president, I guess, and that's why he started running. I don't know. And he never really said why, but he did start running, and he actually did win that election. So in 2020, the 2 running people were Donald Trump again and Joe Biden. Joe Biden had already had experience in office, and so did Trump because he was the president for the last 4 years. But Biden had no experience being president. He only had experience being vice president, you know, because he was vice president for both terms under Obama. Biden ended up winning this election, and his vice president pick was Kamala Harris. See, she might seem unimportant, but she's gonna come back later too. So, summer of 2024, same electees. It's the same 2 people from before. Donald Trump's back. Biden's back because he had just run for the past 4 years. Donald Trump wants to run again. So they're both back. Everybody is like hating on Biden already because like he hasn't done very well in office. Keep that in mind. This happens. So Donald Trump is at a rally. He's like campaigning for himself. He's like, oh, please vote for me, I guess. And he gets shot at. Like there's an assassination attempt on him. And his running mate at the time is Joe Biden, who people already think negatively about. So this picture starts going around and everybody's like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened to Donald Trump. And it's kind of like the summer of Trump because everybody's like, oh my God, Donald Trump is that guy. Then the debate happens and it gets people on Trump's side even more. Joe Biden does not do well at the debate at all. He's kind of like mumbling through the whole thing. He doesn't really get through any of the points. So it's like everybody's kind of like, okay, we know who we're voting for. We know who's gonna win. And then he drops out. He like announced his dropout on Twitter after previously stating that he wouldn't drop out. He had stated during the debate that he wouldn't drop out. He had stated in interviews after that he wasn't planning on dropping out. And then this letter appears on Twitter and it announces his dropout. He doesn't publicly do a speech about it. He isn't like, okay, this is why I dropped out. He just releases the letter, which is pretty odd for the President of the United States to just release something on a social media platform, like, oh, okay, I'm done. But that's what happened. You might be wondering, who's gonna take his place? What's happening now? There's a new person coming. It's Kamala. She's right there. She's the vice president. You might be seeing a theme here because Obama had his vice president and then, well, Hillary ran for that election, but you saw how that went. And then his vice president came, and then his vice president came. It's kind of like a cycle that the Democratic Party has been doing. But Kamala's in the running now. And so the summer of Trump kind of turns into the summer of Kamala. She has kind of sorted the whole thing around to be about her. She really connects with the youth. She connects with a lot of the minorities of America because Trump, his campaign in 2016 was about like, we need to build a wall, we need to keep out like people and stuff. So she's more like a person for unity. She brings in the youth, she brings in like a lot more people. And people on TikTok start making these edits of this album called Brat by Charlie XCX. And they make these edits on TikTok. I'm gonna show you one. Oh, here it is. I'm gonna turn the volume up. Guys, please. Yes, see? These go all over TikTok, okay? And you might be thinking, what does this have to do with the election? it actually really did impact her campaign because people didn't really know her policies at the beginning. They just knew that she was the VP for Joe Biden, who they didn't really like. Let me go back. Not to this. They just knew that she was the VP for Joe Biden. They didn't really know much about her policies or whatever. She has run for president in the past, but she never really got up to like the big spots. She always kind of got voted out. So people didn't really know her policies. They didn't know her as a person. But these brat edits actually like brought her campaign sky high with use because they see this little silly edit and they're like, oh, I'd love her to be president. This is so silly. She also made the speech where she says, she's quoting her mother, and she says, "You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?" And this is kind of the anthem of the people on TikTok reposting her over and over again, which is so odd, you would think. But this election really is run by social media, oddly enough. So the second presidential debate happens. This is, Joe Biden's dropped out, obviously, so there's another debate with a new candidate. Another debate with a new candidate. They've never debated before. She kind of baits him over and over, like, okay, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, and then, like, he takes the bait every time. Like, there was this one part where she mentioned Springfield, Ohio, and she like, kind of manipulates him into going into a rant about people eating cats and dogs in Ohio. To quote Trump, he said, "They're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs." Those are his exact words. Yeah, but there's a lot of moments like that where she just kind of gets him to spiral, to kind of be like, this guy is unfit to be president, he's easily manipulated. It was very smart, but it was also kind of odd because you didn't really see her policies. Again, you don't really see what she stands for, her policies, you just see her manipulating the other candidate and being like, I'm better than this guy, so vote for me. But we don't know who's gonna win because the election's today. So, who do you think is gonna win, guys? Okay. Can we get the volume up? Do you know how to turn the volume up? We had a little technical difficulty, but.
Yeah, 360. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you.
Yeah, but it is kind of odd how she got catapulted from just TikToks on the internet. Anyway, that's my speech on the presidential debate. The presidential election. Yeah.